Assaulted violently for not having a bell on his bike. You heard that right. This is Special Ed, and welcome to News Now Alberta. This happened in 2019, but will always be relevant. This video is a shortened video. You will see the knee dropped to the back and the other knee on the back of the suspect's head. The little running start and the jump before the knee landed hard on a detained man. Edmonton Police withheld video of officer assault on Indigenous man for 4 months from the Crown prosecutor.
This video shows Elliot McLeod screaming in pain as Constable Michael Partington dropped his knee on his back. Partington was assisting another officer who stopped McLeod for riding his bike on a sidewalk without a bell. Backup was called when McLeod rode off after giving a fake name. Partington has been suspended without pay since charges were laid last summer.
Legal experts say police should have disclosed the video to the Crown and McLeod's defense lawyer as soon as possible. A former Crown prosecutor said the failure by EPS to immediately disclose the video violates the law and undermines McLeod's rights. The law is very clear that all relevant evidence gathered by the police has to be turned over to the Crown immediately and then has to be disclosed by the Crown to the defense, says Paul Moreau, who is now a criminal defense lawyer. The video only came out after the victim was offered a plea deal. This video would have certainly changed the outcome of the deal. So again, the thin blue line saves the day when the Edmonton Police Service withheld information to save one of their own. Michael Partington is the tyrant here that did a big part of the assault. The other officer, Officer McCarter, was seen in the original video punching and the handcuffed victim in the back of the head before putting him in the police car. Partington was the main character in this inhumane scene. The victim is Elliot McLeod. He should not have given a fake name to the officer to start with, but this is excessive for such a ridiculous charge. In the interview, McLeod said he was riding his bike on the inner city street when the police vehicle pulled up beside him. He said he stopped and they asked for his name but refused to tell him why. He said he gave him a false name and then took off on his bike. They pulled right up on the curb, right in front of the path, like right up on the sidewalk, McLeod said. I had to swerve to dodge. I didn't want to run into the vehicle. So I kind of swerved and flew off my bike. In the video, McLeod's bike can be seen lying near the sidewalk as officers arrest him. I wasn't resisting arrest because I know better than that, he said. He is right there. He has got me. I'm not going to try and fight him. That is only going to result in me getting, well, beat up, he says. McLeod told CBC News the officer threw him into the back of the cruiser and took him down a side street where he said they sat for what is estimated was an hour. He said they were trying to figure out what to charge him with. He said he had not had any previous dealings with them. He alleged the officer dragged him out of the vehicle twice and beat him. He also said that the first time one of the officers claimed he had spit on them and they put a spit bag over his head. A spit bag stops a prisoner from spitting or biting. I was pretty angry about this, McLeod said. I was honestly really scared. I didn't know what to do. I ended up kind of getting mad in the back of the back seat, and I think I kicked the door, he said. And they dragged me out. I remember this pretty good. Honestly, because it was really scary, like not knowing where the next shot was going to come from. Because I couldn't see. I remember him dragging me up on my feet a second and last time they assaulted me. At that time, I remember being up against the cop car and just closing my eyes and trying to brace Just like I said, I didn't know where the next shot was going to come from, right? CBC did an amazing interview with the victim, and I will put a link to it in the description. The other assaults were not caught on camera, so it's McLeod's word against the officer's word, and a judge would always believe the officer even though they are paid to lie. I really can't wait because this year is the year that they have to have body cams. So I wonder how much lying they'll be able to do, how much beating up in back alleys they'll be able to do when they have body cams, or if those will disappear or not show up in court like this video didn't show up in court. Edmonton Police Department and Alberta Police Department. So make sure that these kind of videos do not make it out to the public. The Crown seek jail time and probation for this Edmonton police officer who assaulted this Indigenous man. During the hearing, the officer told the judge, "Now having watched the video of myself a year later, I can confidently say that it was much harder than I realized," he said, adding that at the time he didn't even feel an impact at all. Partington told court he'd been asked by a superior officer at the scene if he needed to file a use of force report, and he said no. "I could not think of what I had done that would constitute a Category 2 use of force report," he said. He said that the victim was resisting the officer, Officer McCarger. All this officer got for his violent assault was a small fine. In a decision that probed the difficult relationship between Indigenous people and the Canadian justice system, an Edmonton judge on that Thursday issued a $2,000 fine to the city police officer who drove his knee into a restrained First Nations man. Add this to the suspension without pay for a year, and it is still low. He deserved jail time. Provincial Court Judge Peter Ayode's sentence will leave Edmonton Police Services Constable Michael Partington, 34, with a criminal record for his 2019 assault on Elliot McLeod, putting his future as a police officer in jeopardy. Constable Curtis McCargan was testifying in the second day of the assault trial of his fellow squad member in provincial court. McCarg, however, said McLeod attempted to twist towards him and McCarger punched him on the right cheek. McLeod, he said, then put his hands in his front waistband. Fearing he may have a weapon, McCarger said he punched McLeod in the back of his head 3 or 4 more times. "I was hitting him to gain compliance," McCard said, "so I was hitting him as hard as I could. One Constable Partington has delivered the knee strike. We were able to get him secured with handcuffs," McCarger said. "Then I knew I was safe." So this is another police officer using the officer safety rule or law to save his butt. So just the one line, the blue line thug covering for another. These two are criminals. McCarger was never charged for his part of the assault. In my opinion, anyone with such a blatant assault charge should not be an officer. This was a slap on the hand and a don't do it again. It's like a child had slapped another child and gotten in trouble with their mother. Again, I showed a mission and vision statement from the EPS page and how yet again this is not followed by this officer. Please make sure you always film the police. Please like and share and subscribe and leave a comment about your thoughts on this attack. Thank you.